So there's a big game this week.
You could say that.
Yeah.
You could say there's a big game.
We are on campus previewing what Mark D'Antonio and the rest of the MSU players that we got on Tuesday have called the biggest game of the year. I'm Geoff Preston.
I'm Robert Bondy.
Michigan always seems to be that way for MSU. It's been like this since they started playing in 1898, I think is their first meeting.
Sounds about right.
They have. It's always been a hard battle. This state, you are either green or you are blue, and those two factions will come together Saturday in East Lansing at 3:30 at Spartan Stadium. And Robert, it just feels different here this week. It has all week, and I guess it always has as a veteran of a few Michigan State games. You're from Ann Arbor, by the way. I just want everybody to know that.
Yeah.
So
That is that. Growing up in Ann Arbor, a little different, where you were on that side of the rivalry a little bit more. I was never a Michigan fan, never grew up wearing blue and maize and blue. But you do get to see the stat side of it. Now being at Michigan State, you definitely, and like you said, it's been a different week, all week. Earlier this week, I was walking around campus and I saw a sign that said "Only Good Wolverine," and it had a Wolverine stuffed animal hanging by news. So it's just, that alone sums up what this week means, and the players alone have been venting how this is the biggest game. Questions have come up if Ohio State has maybe become their biggest game on the schedule with obviously Ohio State being a better
ranked
team,
and
last year the Big Ten championship.
And that game's probably going to decide the division.
Exactly. That game could decide the division and bigger implications for the playoff and whatnot. But players still are sticking by this being the biggest game of the season. Even Coach D'Antonio a little bit talked about that this week when asked about it. Here's what he had to say about the rivalry in Ohio State and Michigan, where they compare.
Michigan week, looking forward to the challenge. I think it's a great rivalry. We've embraced the rivalry since I've ever been here back in '95. We'll continue to do that. I think when you look at Michigan right now, football team, you look at them offensively, I think they've got some playmakers. I think Gardner is a playmaker. He's established that fact over the course of time. Devin Funchess as well. I think they're playing very well on the defensive side of the ball. You look at some of their linebackers, Jack Ryan in particular, Frank Clark's very solid player.
So that was Coach D'Antonio talking about the rivalry in Ohio State, and we mentioned how Robert is from Ann Arbor. I'm from out of state, and so I know that for me personally, when I first came here, I didn't quite understand this rivalry. You're a part of plenty of rivalries in sports, no matter who you root for or where you're from, but I really didn't get it until my first Michigan game freshman year, and I think that everybody that's watching this and everybody that has ever been associated with either school can just tell you that it's different, but it's hard to explain. You got to actually be in it to actually know what it's like.
Yeah, definitely.
And one thing that has helped with no matter where the game is played or who wins has been the running game. Yeah. It seems like every single season, whoever can run the ball better will win and has won. Michigan State obviously ran the ball pretty well last year, and Michigan,
not so much.
We know about their struggles against MSU's front seven. Robert, just kind of take us through how important the run game is and what in particular MSU wants to do against that Michigan front seven.
Well, I think the front seven for Michigan is very good this year. They rank 4th in the country in rush defense. And
not a lot of people know that either.
Exactly.
Michigan's really been talked down about how they're not very good, but that run defense is solid.
Exactly. That's the one area where they do have an advantage. Michigan State still ranks in the top 15, I believe, in rush defense and rush offense as well. So, they're still very good on their own side of it. The key is going to be how Michigan runs the ball, I think. Because Michigan State and Michigan, they're going to butt heads running game with Michigan State offense versus Michigan defense, running the attack. But I want to see how Michigan runs the ball, because I think Michigan State's going to be pretty blunt about it. They're going to be they're going to load that box and say, Devin Gardner, you need to beat us today. And he hasn't proven he can beat them in the past. Last year, he sacked 7 times. Now I don't know how much
out.
Exactly, he did tap out. I don't know much of that was him or his offensive line.
Right.
But that alone, shows the running struggles Michigan's had in the past. And I think that's going to be an area this week where if Michigan State, stops the run game, I don't think Michigan has much of a chance. And they're going to need either a great game out of Devin Gardner, or they're going to need that offensive line to somehow get a push against Michigan State's front seven, which is really good.
Yes.
To say it, say it just nice and easy.
Call it how it is. Huh?
Exactly.
So let's go to Coach D'Antonio talking a little bit about the run game.
I think that's an indication of can you control the line of scrimmage or not. And I think that any football team that controls the line of scrimmage usually wins the football game. And I think that's pretty much true probably in most football games. If you win up front, you've got a great chance to win the football game. Doesn't mean it's always going to happen, but you have a chance.
That was Coach D'Antonio talking about the importance of the running game, and we have come to the segment of the video where we like to do our predictions, be a little bit of a football forecaster here. We got a bonus edition though, this week because it is rivalry week and we love you people. Every year, the State News and the Michigan Daily play in a two-hand shove football game, and the winner has to score 8 touchdowns.
Yep.
And you know we're not going
bragging rights.
It's for bragging rights. It's heated. It's intense, and we're going to predict that game as well. I have just in general for that game mayhem, destruction,
Yeah.
and I think that the State News wins 8-4. Beat the Daily.
I'll go with you on that, Geoff. I think it's going to be, like you said, it's my third one going into the Daily game for, a State News people working in the media. It's a big deal. I don't know how much the viewers care too much about this, but
Probably not at all, but we care.
We like to vent about it a little bit.
We care.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with 8-5. I think the Daily finally goes down and the State News snaps a long losing streak. We won't say how many games it's been, but it's been a little bit for us. So
Doesn't
we gotta
matter.
get off that.
There's going to be a new streak starting. It's going to be one.
All right, and more importantly, I think what the
Yes.
fans truly want.
What the people actually want
And
to
this
see.
is breaking down the Michigan State and Michigan game. We'll give our predictions real quick. Mine, I think this game's going to be somewhat of a blowout. I know it's rivalry week, and I know in the past players have said this week that records can be thrown out when it comes to rivalry week. But in this year, I don't see it being very close. I have Michigan State winning 38-13. I don't believe Michigan's going to get a lot out of their offense. I do think they will score an offensive touchdown, which is something they haven't done in over 3 years in calendar years. But I do think this is the year that Michigan State just truly dominates Michigan. Doesn't make this a game very much, and I think it comes with the running game. I think stopping Devin Gardner will be what Michigan State does defensively, and overall, I just don't see much out of Michigan that makes me confident that they'll make this a game.
I've thought a lot about this. I haven't gone back and forth. I mean, look, when you took the two teams' resumes and who they are, and you just put them on a piece of paper, and you don't look at the rivalry, and you don't look at what state they're from, you would have a really, really hard time picking this game to be a close game. That being said, the most tried and true, oldest, sometimes annoying cliche in rivalry games is you throw the records out the window, and sometimes cliches are cliches for a reason. I have Michigan State winning, but I don't think that it's going to be as much of a blowout as a lot of people would reasonably predict for a different game against a team that's as talented as Michigan. Look, that team's looked like a dumpster fire. Let's just call it how it is. But I think that the rivalry game, Michigan's run defense is going to be, pretty good again. I have MSU winning 24-14.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah,
but, well, we haven't
a lot
agreed
of
often
people-
this year,
We'll
see.
We'll
see.
I'm probably wrong, but
You never know. It's a rivalry game, like you said, and that's all that matters.
yep. We will sign off from now. Everybody, enjoy it. This is one of the more fun times of the year. It's Michigan week. I'm Geoff Preston.
I'm Bondy.
We're gonna break down the Michigan game after it's done next week.